The lights inside the arena glow like a rising sun, cutting through the darkness as thousands of voices merge into a low, constant roar. Flags wave, camera flashes pop, and anticipation hangs heavy in the air. At center stage stands a young man from Yokohama, Japan, quiet, composed, almost unnervingly calm. Naoya Inoue, just 24 years old, carries with him the weight of expectation and the promise of devastation. 11 knockouts in 13 professional fights have already earned him a chilling nickname, the Monster. Across the ring waits Antonio Nieves of the United States, older, tougher, battle-tested, a man who knows this night may define his career. There's a 6-year age gap, but more importantly, a gap in aura. Inoue doesn't need to shout or glare. His presence alone commands respect. The referee gives his final instructions: protect yourself at all times, and as the gloves touch, the crowd senses it immediately. This is an introduction, a proving ground, and a warning to the division. CompuBox numbers don't lie. Inoue lands more jabs than almost anyone in the sport, surpassed only by elite pound-for-pound monsters. But statistics can't fully explain what the eyes see. His balance is flawless, his stance economical, his movements sharpened by years under the watchful eye of his father and trainer. As the opening bell rings, Nieves circles cautiously, testing the distance, while Inoue glides forward with surgical patience. Every step is measured, every breath controlled. The monster has entered the ring, and the atmosphere shifts from excitement to unease. From the very first exchanges, Inoue establishes his command through the jab, a snapping, authoritative punch that is less an invitation and more a declaration. It hides his power, disguises what's coming next, and forces Nieves into constant reaction mode. Feints flicker from Inoue's shoulders, subtle head movement draws responses, and then bang, a clean counter left hand lands flush, echoing through the arena. The crowd reacts not with shock, but with recognition, as if they expected this inevitability. Nieves tries to answer, stepping in with a hook, attempting to punch with Inoue rather than retreat from him, but timing betrays him. Inoue is always first, always balanced, always in position to strike again. He varies the jab, sometimes stiff and heavy, sometimes quick and probing, then slides out of range, just as Nieves commits. It's a chess match being played at frightening speed, and one man is several moves ahead. Inoue goes to the body with placement, rather than brute force, digging shots under the elbows, forcing Nieves to think, to guard low, to hesitate. When Nieves does find a moment, throwing a looping right or a hopeful combination, Inoue's defense absorbs it calmly, gloves high, elbows tucked, eyes never leaving the target. The early rounds become a lesson in fundamentals married to violence. The monster doesn't rush. He doesn't need to. He's collecting data, reading reactions, filing away tendencies. And as the rounds tick by, the gap in class becomes impossible to ignore. By the middle rounds, the tempo subtly changes. Inoue begins to sit down more on his punches, his weight transferring perfectly from foot to foot, every shot carrying intent. The jab now sets up the right hand, and the right hand opens the door for the left hook, Inoue's favorite weapon, still largely unfurled. Nieves tries to dig to the body in return, but his shots are smothered, blocked, or answered immediately. A crisp 1-2 snaps his head back, followed by a hard right that makes him rethink his approach. The crowd senses the shift, rising with every clean connection, reacting to the sound as much as the sight. Inoue's accuracy is almost unsettling. When he throws, he rarely misses. He doesn't overwhelm with wild combinations yet. He picks, selects, punishes. It's a nightmare for an opponent who prides himself on toughness. Nieves is game, refusing to fold, but the pressure is relentless. Inoue stalks now, cutting the ring, forcing exchanges on his terms. A heavy jab pins Nieves in place, and a sudden hook to the body draws a sharp gasp from the crowd. The body shots begin to stack, each one stealing breath, draining resistance. Inoue's balance allows him to punch and immediately be ready to punch again, or to slip away untouched. Even when Nieves lands a clean shot, Inoue absorbs it with composure, resetting instantly, eyes cold and calculating. This is not youthful recklessness. This is controlled destruction. As the later rounds arrive, the fight's narrative becomes unavoidable. Inoue knows his opponent is hurt, and he begins to test him. Jab, lead right, short combinations, all designed to probe the damage. Nieves retreats, searching for space, but the ring feels smaller with every step. Inoue walks him down with quiet authority, his gloves high, his feet always under him. Then comes the turning point. A brutal left hook to the body, thrown with perfect leverage. Nieves winces, his posture betraying the pain. Another left to the body lands, then another, each one a sledgehammer digging into the ribs. The sound of leather on flesh echoes through the arena, drawing a collective groan from the audience. Nieves protects his head instinctively, but the body is exposed, and Inoue exploits it mercilessly. For the first time as a professional, Nieves is forced down, overwhelmed by the accumulation of punishment. He rises, but the writing is already on the wall. Inoue stalks again, patient even now, choosing his shots, ripping hooks downstairs with frightening precision. The referee watches closely, the corner weighs its options, and the crowd buzzes with the understanding that this is no longer a contest, it's a demonstration. Inoue finishes the round with yet another crushing body shot, and when the bell rings, the decision is made. The trainer steps in. The fight is over. The official result is announced, a technical knockout at the end of round 6. Naoya Inoue raises his gloves, expression calm, almost serene, as the crowd erupts. Another opponent has fallen, not to chaos, but to calculated brilliance. This victory is more than a win, it's a statement. Inoue hasn't just defeated Antonio Nieves, he has showcased the complete package: speed, power, accuracy, defense, and ring intelligence far beyond his years. As the music swells and the cameras close in, the nickname feels less like hype and more like truth. The monster from Japan continues his march, leaving behind bruised bodies and unanswered questions for the rest of the division. On this night, under the bright lights, the boxing world is reminded that greatness doesn't always roar. Sometimes it stalks quietly, behind a perfect jab, waiting for the moment to strike.